sandwiches, ice cream, coffee and snacks, and many other pleasing treats. Our foods are fresh and tasty, our drinks satisfying and refreshing. They're so good.
Welcome to Average Joe's Drive-In.
And now, on with the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 101 of Average Joe's Drive-In. I am your host, TJ Washburn, and this is a review cast. We're not going to waste a lot of time, and we're going to get right into it. From 2013, 47 Ronin.
I'm looking for someone who was sold to you when he was a child. Those who enslaved you, killed our leader, and banished us from our land. Join us, and we will have our revenge.
Whatever happens, whatever you see, there's no coming back.
It is time. Your world will burn.
We're not afraid of you.
You should be. Mountains of corpses will not stand in our way.
Their army is infinite.
We are 47.
Your life belongs to us. Then take it if you can. Will know who we are and what we did.
This is an action-adventure drama directed by Carl Rintz, has a 128-minute runtime, rated PG-13, stars Keanu Reeves, Hiroyuki Sanada, and Ko Shiabasaka. I watched this one on Blu-ray. In feudal Japan, Lord Asano rules his province with fairness. However, jealous Lord Kira fears that the shogun favors Asano over him and hatches a plot that ends with Asano's ritual suicide. After Asano's death, his samurai, led by Oishi, are forced to live as outcasts. Oishi wanders for several years but realizes that he must turn to Kei, a mixed-blooded warrior he once rejected, to help him and his Ronin comrades take revenge on Lord Kira. I remember thinking when this first came out that it looked interesting. It looked like it would be a bit of an old-school period piece action flick. That's always been a weak spot for movies. I tend to be a little more forgiving with issues and usually enjoy them, so when it came out, I remember not hearing much about it, and what I did wasn't all that good. I decided to wait until it came out on video, and for one reason or the other, I never got around to watching it. Luckily, I found a copy cheap on Blu-ray and put it on my to-watch immediately pile. While I wasn't completely blown away, 47 Ronin is a solid film. There are a lot of things to like about it. The effects look great. I thought the cinematography was fantastic. And at times I had difficulty telling between locations and sets. The acting was solid. Wasn't anything groundbreaking, but nothing that detracted from the movie. I really like the overall story. It's a simple tale of honor and vengeance. Again, it doesn't break much new ground, but it does its job. I like the fact much of this feels more like a drama than an action film. It works well in those regards, but also is a key point to the one major issue I had, the pacing. It feels like something's missing. I don't often say that about a nearly 2-hour movie. Usually, it's just the opposite. There were a few times during the film I started to zone out, lose focus, mostly due to the way it flowed. And I kind of wonder if maybe they cut some stuff because of the runtime that kind of made it feel like that. Overall, I enjoyed it. It's an easy watch. There isn't anything blatantly awful about it. It's a type of action movie you could sit down and watch on a date. Not too extreme, but not too schmaltzy. A little something for everyone. My rating is a 6 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 6.3 out of 10. Up next, from 2015, Absolutely Anything.
By the power invested in me by the Intergalactic Council, I hereby pronounce a destruction order on the planet Earth. The usual test, Kylie. One Earthling will be picked at random to prove he can use absolute power for good.
But if he uses it for evil,
The Earth will be eliminated.
Suppose there was one thing you could do that would change your life for the better.
Oh, that's easy. I would be able to see Catherine from downstairs. I can make things happen. Clothes, get dressed on me. All I have to do is wave my hand. Dennis, be able to speak.
Biscuits.
What?
Biscuits. Please, please, please. Nothing else matters. Come to think of it, I wouldn't mind shagging your leg right now.
I could solve every problem in the world.
Have you thought this thing through?
Dog mess, clean yourself up.
It's clear he has no idea of doing any good whatsoever.
Let me have a really great body and a really big...
Ow! Not that big, obviously.
I was being selfish. I could have made people happy. Let everyone who died be alive again.
Not everyone who's died ever. Are you crazy?
Me be president of the United States.
Oh my God!
Here are the briefing papers for Syria, the deficit, Israel and the Middle East. Jesus in
Sibel!
Just pretend to be a dumb animal again.
I love you, Neil. Shut up, Dennis. Shag her, Neil.
Give me the body of a great man.
This is a comedy sci-fi directed by Terry Jones, has an 85-minute runtime, rated R, stars Simon Pegg, Kate Beckinsale, and Sanjeev Bhaskar. I watched this one on Netflix. A group of eccentric aliens confers a human being with the power to do absolutely anything as an experiment. This one's been on my Netflix queue for quite some time. I mainly put it there because it had Simon Pegg in it, and I figured it might be worth giving it a shot. I really hadn't heard anything about this, which was okay. I like going into a film completely unaware. Sometimes that's the best way to approach a film. I have to say, this was a pleasant surprise. While the first 20 minutes or so of the film are a bit slow, when it starts to pick up, it never lets up. I was surprised at how often I found myself howling with laughter. While some of the comedy was a bit hit or miss, the beats that landed for me were hilarious. Overall, it's a fun little movie, fairly well acted. There's some decent special effects and a short and to the point runtime. It doesn't waste a lot of time trying to pad it like so many films do, and that usually just ends up hurting the ebb and flow. I'm really glad I gave this a shot. I will definitely be throwing it on again. Well worth a view, especially if you like Simon Pegg and are a fan of British comedy. My rating is a 7 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 6 out of 10. Keeping on the comedy bandwagon, 2003, Grandma's Boy.
You got skills.
If you think video games fry your mind,
Game over.
and make you stupid,
Your bed is a car.
Yeah, but it's a sweet car.
You're lost.
What is that ringing? Do I have a tumor?
Now, for this ultimate gamer.
Who wants a shot at the champ?
Whoa, it's going down.
Desperate times.
Josh has been spending our rent money on Filipino hookers.
You're a hooker!
I got evicted. Timmy, any chance I can crash on your couch tonight?
Shut up. Call for desperate measures.
This really cute chick said that I could sleep with her and her 2 crazy girlfriends.
You remember my grandson, Alex?
How old are you now?
36.
You have a girlfriend?
No.
My grandson's gay, too. I'll give you his number.
Why are you so tired? Because I was with 3 chicks last night.
Don't tell me your roommates did that to you.
They're crazy. They tied me up.
That's legendary.
Looking for Alex?
We're his roommates.
You're the reason Alex has been tired all week?
We ride him pretty hard.
Oh, that is so gnarly. I was putting up my Christmas tree.
Dude, it's July. And, why are you naked?
Oh my God, I am naked. Come on in.
From 20th Century Fox comes a comedy that proves
Don't judge me, monkey.
you're never too old
This tea has quite a kick.
to come of age.
I can hear my hair growing.
Hey, Sophie didn't die in the bed, did you?
No.
Good.
She fell out of bed and died right here.
Grandma's Boy.
I died on the floor, and nobody helped me.
I swear to God, I would have helped you, Sophie. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I would have helped you. I just wasn't here.
Gotcha!
Oh, my God!
You scaredy cat.
Just another day, just another day.
This one was directed by Nicholas Goosen, has a 94-minute runtime, rated R, stars Alan Covert, Linda Cardellini, and Shirley Jones. I watched this one on DVD. When he and his roommate can't pay their rent, video game creator Alex finds himself homeless and moves in with Lily, his wacky grandmother. Lily and her elderly pals like to hang out in front of the television all day, but their constant presence puts a damper on Alex's social life and pot smoking. Alec wants to court co-worker Samantha, but he's preoccupied with a rivalry with another game designer, so the would-be relationship is in limbo. Grandma's Boy is one of those comedies that I love. While it's juvenile and kind of dumb fun, there's a weird sweetness to it that makes it stand above a lot of other similar films. I picked it up cheap in a bargain bin as I hadn't watched it in several years and had been thinking about it just recently. I'm not ashamed to admit I still love this movie. While the comedy's pretty much what you'd expect from a Happy Madison production, it does manage to be more, as I said. My favorite parts of the film have always centered around the relationship between Alex and his grandmother. That's where the most memorable moments come from. I think it's a solid movie and fun. Sure, it has its flaws and a few eye-rolling moments where you almost want to groan, but it manages to work for the most part. This isn't going to work for everyone. If it does, you'll probably find yourself really enjoying it. My rating is a 6 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 7 out of 10. Up next, from 2018, Hotel Transylvania 3, Summer Vacation.
What can I help you with, Lord of Darkness?
I'm looking for a date.
The date is Friday, July 13th.
No. I want to meet someone.
Understood. You want to eat dim sum.
Don't you get it? I want to go on a date. I'm lonely.
I understand. You want bologna.
Too many eyes. Too few eyes. Not into tentacles.
Dad?
No, babies!
You're stressed out from working too hard. You need a vacation from running everyone else's vacation. And I know just how to fix it.
Mavis, where are we going? A cruise?
Surprise!
Oh, no.
Dad! Come on, there's so much to do. You could go scuba diving. Try some exotic food. Or just enjoy the view.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
Maybe you'll find your own fireworks on the cruise.
It's not the Love Boat, Frank.
Ahoy there! I am Captain Erica. You must be the one and only Dracula.
Dubide, shula, kubide?
There's something about an accent that makes a man sound so intelligent.
Dubide, shula, kubide. You nailed it, honey. Best summer vacation ever!
You were right, great-grandfather Van Helsing. Monsters are disgusting. They have no idea what's about to happen to them. It's all going according to plan.
There is something about that woman I don't trust.
The food here is to die for.
Must have been garlic in the guacamole.
Isn't that deadly for you?
Was that you? Oh no, Blobby's gonna puke.
This is an animated adventure comedy directed by Gendy Tartakovsky. Has a 97-minute runtime, rated PG. Stars Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg, and Selena Gomez. I watched this on Blu-ray. Count Dracula and company participate in a cruise for sea-loving monsters, unaware that their boat is being commandeered by the monster-hating Van Helsing family. Listen, I know there are a lot of people out there who don't care for this series, but I have always rather enjoyed them. No, they aren't quite on the level of some of the other animated franchise, but there's a simplistic, carefree nature about them that I've always found enjoyable. I've actually been pretty excited to see this one. As I said, I enjoyed the first two films. If you did enjoy the first two films, this one definitely won't let you down. It doesn't stray far from the formula, but adds enough new elements in to remain enjoyable and not feel like old hat. I thought it did a good job of that. So, often after the second film, especially in a series geared more towards kids, they seem to fall into a very stale pattern. As I said, there's still a lot of those same elements, but also enough new that it remained enjoyable. I like the voice cast, the animation's solid, and there are plenty of good moments and laughs. It's harmless fun. Again, if you enjoyed the first two films, you'll probably find this one enjoyable as well. My rating is a 6.5 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 6.3 out of 10. Up next, from 1986, Maximum Overdrive.
Hi. My name is Stephen King. I've written several motion pictures, but I want to tell you about a movie called Maximum Overdrive, which is the first one I've directed. Wow.
What in the dickens is going on around here?
A lot of people have directed Stephen King novels and stories. And I finally decided if you want something done right, you ought to do it yourself.
Who was driving it? I don't know.
Curtis! It's coming after us!
It was my first picture as a director, and you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
What is going on?
I don't know!
I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
You want a war? You got one.
I just want to get the hell out of here.
So come and spend some time with me and my friends at the Dixie Boy. Spend some time in the dark.
Please don't let us be in the dark.
Help me. I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. And that's a promise.
You're going to get us in an awful lot of trouble, man.
We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Jesus coming and he is.
Maximum King.
Maybe tomorrow will be our world again.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive.
This is an action comedy horror directed by Stephen King, has a 98-minute runtime, rated R, stars Emilio Estevez, Pat Hingle, and Laura Harrington. I watched this on Amazon Prime. After a comet causes a radiation storm on Earth, machines come to life and turn against their makers. Holed up at a North Carolina truck stop, a group of survivors must fend for themselves against a mass of homicidal trucks. A dinner cook, Bill Robinson, emerges as the unlikely leader of the pack, attempting to find an escape plan for himself and the survivors, who includes his boss, Bubba Hendershot, and a newlywed couple. Listen, while Maximum Overdrive isn't a great movie, I've always enjoyed it in a campy, fun sort of way. It almost has that 50s schlock sci-fi vibe going on, and I'm okay with that. I haven't seen it for quite a while. While I can't tell you how many years it has been since I last viewed it, this was always one of those films I managed to catch every few years. One of those, if it was on, was watching it type of films. Funny thing is, I've never actually owned this one in any format. It's one of those flicks I keep managing to pick up, but never, I keep meaning to pick up, but never get around to doing. So, when I came across it on Amazon Prime, I jumped at the chance to watch it again. I've never understood the hate this one gets. Sure, it's goofy in premise and weird, but that for me is where the charm lies. I don't think the acting is terrible, but the scores honestly rather iconic. It's pretty much an all AC/DC soundtrack. There are some moments in the film that really stand out as unique. Maybe it's just because this was one of the earlier Stephen King films I saw, so I cut it a little more slack than I would some other films. I don't know. It's not perfect. There are a lot of dumb moments and characters, but in the context of what the film is about, I can roll with that. My rating is a 5 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 5.4 out of 10. Up next, from 1990, one of my all-time favorite films, Night of the Living Dead.
They came to pay their respects.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Why do you have to be so cruel?
What?
Show some respect.
Now they're running for their lives.
A biologist in Stockton, California have released reports focusing on the phenomenon, specifically on that trance-like state.
Every shelter is becoming a trap.
Are you sure we're gonna be all right? Cooper, you gotta help me out!
And every road out.
Don't stop no matter what happens.
Is just another dead end.
They're coming right for us!
George Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
This is a horror directed by Tom Savini. It's a 92-minute runtime, rated R, stars Tony Todd, Patricia Tallman, and Tom Towles. I watched this on Blu-ray. For reasons unknown, the recently deceased are rising from the grave as flesh-hungry zombies. Fleeing from the undead horde, a small group of survivors, including Barbara, Ben, and Harry, sequester themselves in a remote farmhouse. When the zombies outside the house multiplying, tensions flare. As the group argues over the best way to escape their increasingly dire situation before they're overrun completely. Remakes are a touchy subject for movie fans. Horror movie fans, maybe even more so. So often when a film gets remade, we take it as a personal smite against us. I think it's often because they mean so much to us for varying reasons that we can't get past a sacred gem being altered in any way. I know I'm like that when it comes to a lot of films. As I've gotten older, I've also come to accept that often this is the only way the younger generations are ever going to get familiar with the films. I know if it wasn't for certain films, I wouldn't have ever known about the original. Night of the Living Dead 1990 is one of those films. I've talked about it almost ad nauseum, that this was the film that made me a horror fan. I had seen horror before this, but this was the one that really made me love the genre. I have been patiently waiting for a Blu-ray to come out, but for one reason, it just hasn't. There was a region-free, I guess, European release, but I never picked it up because I've always been kind of skittish about those. So I was excited when they announced it would finally be getting a U.S. release. While I didn't notice that much of a difference from the DVD, it was nice to see the film in high definition. The film still holds up and looks great. I love the performances. Tony Todd is amazing, as well as Patricia Tallman. Both of their characters are very realistic, in my opinion, of how normal people would act in a stressful situation. The side characters are solid, and the effects look great. Having Tom Savini behind the lens was a perfect choice for the simple fact he knows effects and the series, as he's been part of the franchise as an effects artist since Dawn. I think he took the task at hand with a reverence for the series. He stayed on course with what the original film was while adding some small tweaks that updated it more and made it feel slightly more modern. I would dare say, much like the original, it was even a bit ahead of its time. If you love the film as much as I do, or have never seen it on Blu-ray, it's worth picking up. I'm still holding out hope for a 4K restoration loaded with extras, but for now, this will tide me over. Still effective and a damn good film that deserves some love. My rating is a 9 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 6.9 out of 10. Up next, from 1985, Wheels of Fire.
This is the future, and it's up for grabs. Doomsday is history. Only the strong survive. All that stands between civilization and chaos are wheels of fire and a stranger who drives as if there's no tomorrow, because there may not be one. Wheels of fire. They're ruthless animals on a desert rampage, and they've got his sister.
Put her down.
She's not going to be the same, Praise. I've seen what these people can do to a woman.
No ordinary man could save her, but this is no ordinary man. Where is she, Spike?
The fortress.
Fire! One last hero making one last stand.
I'm gonna get her back.
This is the future. It's every man for himself. Time is running out. It's a world without laws, without justice. There are no rules. Nothing can stop the vicious road scum who ravage the wasteland in machines of destruction. The ultimate confrontation between good and evil. Nothing can stop his wheels of fire. When the heat is on, he'll go the distance. Wheels of Fire.
This is an action-adventure sci-fi directed by Ciro H. Santiago, 81-minute runtime, rated R, stars Gary Watkins, Laura Banks, and Linda Weismeyer. I watched this one on Amazon Prime. In a post-apocalyptic future, a ruthless vehicular gang called the Highway Warriors is conquering the wasteland through murder and plunder. During a raid, they kidnap the sister of a road warrior named Trace. He brings hell down upon them. I was in the mood for something 80s, but didn't want to watch something I've seen already. So I started scrolling through Prime, as they'd recently added a whole bunch of genre films from that decade. Many I had seen, many I had not. There are a bunch I had never even heard of. Wheels of Fire was one of those films that I had never heard of. It sounded like what I was looking for, so I hit play. This movie is bad, but fun bad. Right in that glorious wheelhouse area of Canon and Orion Pictures. There's a certain charm to those movies. They tend to be over the top, and the violence and sex department's a bit sleazy and often a tad uncomfortable. Wheels of Fire nailed all those things. It's a low-budget Mad Max ripoff. The version on Amazon looked like it had been restored and looked great. The effects were decent, but man, oh man, is there some awful stunt moments. It looks so goofy. The acting is about what you'd expect, and I quite like the score. The story, well, I guess that was a bit of an afterthought. Who needs a story, right? One area I found bothersome was the excessive implied rape scenes. It's one thing to make the point of what's going on. It's another to keep repeatedly going back to it over and over and over as a means for the actresses to, get their breasts out. Overall, this was better than I expected. It's good and not... Is it good? Not really. Is it entertaining? Yes, it is. I would only recommend this one for fans of that era of genre film. I'm not sure it would be as entertaining for viewers not already immersed in similar fare. My rating is a 4 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 4.6 out of 10. And last, one that I actually have been really curious to see for quite a while, and that is 2018's Primal Rage.
For a year, a month, and 9 days, I've been planning this exact moment. I'm scared. What was that?
What are we gonna do?
We'll get you back, okay?
We'll just follow the river back up to the road, flag someone down. It'll be easy. Guys, there's an exit on the road. Does anybody have a cell phone? But we're just trying to get back.
There's something in these woods.
Go!
There's a creature lives in these woods. As ancient as my tribe remembers. The legend says that when our chiefs die, their spirits come back. The creature took your wife.
Gonna get you.
This is a horror directed by Patrick McGee. It's a 106-minute runtime, rated R. Stars Casey Gilardi, Andrew Joseph Montgomery, and Jameson Pazak. I watched this one on Amazon Prime. Deep in the Pacific Northwest, Ashley and Max Carr become lost in a forest where a mysterious creature dwells. They soon find themselves in a fierce fight for survival against a terrifying beast that may be the legendary Bigfoot. Let's face it, most Sasquatch-type movies aren't very good. There have always been a few enjoyable ones over the years, but they are definitely few and far between. Outside of, I would say, Abominable, Willow Creek, Sasquatch, and The Creature from Black Lake, I can't really name any I thought were genuinely good films. And even those are good, in like a B-movie sort of way. There have been a few ones that weren't good, but more entertaining in a bad B-movie sort of way. Snow Beast, Exist, Sasquatch Hunters. When I saw the trailer for this, my interest was piqued. It looked well made, and maybe, just maybe, we'd finally, get another good Bigfoot movie. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it anywhere, and when I did, I wasn't about to plop down the $15 for a copy of A Sight Unseen. I decided to check Amazon Prime, and lo and behold, they had it, and it was a 99-cent rental, so I thought, perfect. I'll be up front. Sasquatch has always been one of those things that terrify me. Living where I do is something that's been stuck with me from a very young age and has always been one of my irrational fears. So, I have both a soft spot and a glaring disdain for subject matter that takes it on. One of the first things I noticed about Primal Rage was it looked like it had a budget. I know that's not the be-all, end-all when it comes to movies, but out of all the films I've seen involving this subject, it was one of the better-looking ones. The effects were fantastic, and I loved the look of the creature. It did have more of an ape-like appearance to it than many of the traditional descriptions, but in the context of the story, I really liked it. While this isn't a gore fest, there are some awesome moments of gore that will sate diehard gorehounds. I loved the score and thought it fit the tone of the movie well and made it feel much grander than it deserved to. It added an ominous layer to the situation without pulling you out of what was going on, like a good score should. Where this one stumbles a bit is the story itself. I get plot points and needing to move the story along, but there are a few occasions where things felt unnecessary and foreshadowed just a bit too much. While I didn't have any major issues with the acting, the main male character was annoying. It felt like every bad boy trying to do good trope wrapped into one. I don't even fault that in the performance. I think it was more the way it was written. It isn't too bad throughout, that performance isn't too bad throughout the first third of the film. And that act, there's a good dynamic between him and the lead actress. It loses most of that momentum throughout the last 2/3. While it doesn't ruin the film, it is off-putting. If I had watched this movie when I was 14 or 15, this would have been right in that sweet spot for me. It's very reminiscent of old school Orion Pictures type films, as I said about the Wheels of Fire. And that higher end B-grade movie I enjoyed so much growing up. Despite the issues I had, I did enjoy it. It's got good enough points, ideas, and moments to give it a watch. I know I've certainly seen and enjoyed a hell of a lot worse. My rating is a 6 out of 10. The average IMDb rating is a 4.9 out of 10. And that is going to wrap up this review cast. I'd like to thank everybody that continues to listen to the show and support it. Please go and support my sponsors, the Maine Cannababes. Go to www.maincannababes.com to find out more information about them. There's all kinds of good resources there. You can also order your 2019 Maine Cannababes calendar, and the proceeds go to charitable causes of their determination. So words are hard. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm stumbling here. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. We got some cool guests coming up. Lots of movies to talk about in the future. And remember, kids, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. And I will see you sexy animals on the flip side.
It's intermission. Rise and stretch time. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drinks are sparkling cold. The juicy Frank sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly brewed, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
Thanks for listening to Average Joe's Drive-In. If you'd like to talk movies or contact the show, add our social media pages. You can add us on Facebook at Average Joe's Drive-In Podcast, on Twitter at TWJ Author, on Instagram at Thomas Washburn Jr. You can also hit up www.thomaswashburnjr.com for more information about the show and related links. If you'd like to support the show, you can buy TJ's books on Amazon. Just type in Thomas Washburn Jr. in the search. Books are available in Kindle and paperback formats. If you have Kindle Unlimited or Prime, you can read the books for free and money will be earned by the pages read. It doesn't cost you anything and it supports the show. Until next time, you've been listening to Average Joe's Drive-In.